Force of Negation can't counter a Siege Rhino, so Matt, you're totally in the clear.
And that's how you unlock the format. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everyday Journal number 86. I just decided to randomly start our show tonight as Callum was actually giving us some super deep insight into how to break Legacy. Callum, hey, how's it going, man?
How's it going, everyone? We were just discussing, we'll get to another topic later, but Force of Negation is being played everywhere, so Siege Rhino is the natural counter to it. So I'm excited to get to that portion, especially.
And you can't have a podcast about Siege Rhino without the one and only Matt Pavlik. Matt, it's been a while since we have had you on the cast, right? So how have you been doing? Are you back to Earth? Is your mission finished? Can we reveal your location again?
Unfortunately, no. I'm so sorry. I am definitely not podcasting from my usual location, but it's okay. The internet here is
You're
good.
really not selling that, special Forces vibe that I'm trying to give you.
I'm just trying to stay incognito, that's all.
No, but seriously, man, how's it been? How are things in let's assume British Columbia?
Let's assume. That's probably a good bet. Things have been good. Work has been busy. The war on cavities never ends. Brush your teeth, kids.
I mean, so we can bring some advice on breaking the teeth brushing metagame as well.
I mean, just do it twice a day. Put me out of business. I dare you. And yet, still hasn't happened. So keep it rolling.
Dude, when I was growing up, like in the 80s and 90s, the recommendation was 3 times a day, and now we've dialed it down to 2 times a day. Like
I can't get some people to brush once a day. So if I say 3, they're just gonna give up. So we got to meet somewhere in the middle, right?
Doesn't it feel disgusting in your mouth? Like if you get up in the morning and you don't brush your teeth, like ugh.
Correct, strictly correct. But these people are wrong and bad. So to all those who are listening, once in the morning, once at night. Otherwise, you're just putting money in my pocket. It's fine. I'll take your money. But, you don't have to do this.
No, maybe we should make, a dentist podcast. Honestly, that's probably going to bring back some bad memories. I once dated a dentist, and she was like she was my dentist. And that didn't end right. Hey, Nina, if you're listening to this, I'm not going to reveal anymore. Anyway, Callum, how have you been?
I don't know how to follow that.
Have you been brushing?
I've been brushing my teeth. I've been setting up a Everyday Dentist Eternal or something, whatever. Other than that, nothing too exciting since the last one, unfortunately. Still been cracking on with some Warhammer and down that deep rabbit hole. Got to play some music recently, so I've got a band and we rehearsed for the first time in 6 months or more, which was really cool. And yeah, with Eternal Weekend announced just today and yesterday, I've been thinking about what to play, and that's my shtick. What about you?
Oh, I went so deep into Lego by now I can't even deny it.
So I've got Warhammer, you've got Lego.
And it really struck me when this year for my birthday, a couple of weeks ago, I got Lego store coupons from different people independently because they figured that's what Julian does, that's what Julian wants, that's what Julian talks about all day. We're gonna give him Lego coupons. And honestly, if Wizards ever finds a way for people to, we're gonna talk about The Walking Dead and stuff later, but I just realized for 10, 15, 20 years, I've been the Magic guy. And none of my friends ever gave me a Magic coupon or anything like that, because that's not something that exists, right? I guess you could go to your LGS and buy a coupon there.
Yeah.
But nobody ever did that because non-Magic people don't go to LGSs really. But
I just thought of the perfect present for you. I didn't know it was your birthday, or actually I knew it was your birthday on the day. But if I knew before, I would have sent you one of each basic land and a back to basics. Damn it.
That would have been sweet. But yeah, I guess people could gift ticks, Magic Online ticks or something.
Yeah, it doesn't
I'll send you a
special,
Siege Rhino signed by me.
Nice.
In which language?
Russian, obviously.
Oh, okay. If you learn to pronounce Siege Rhino in Russian, I'm actually going to be proud of that.
No, seriously. Okay.
Lots of Lego. I bought an EP.86. That's the big walker from Star Wars 5.
Is that how much it cost as well?
Yeah, it was it's supposed to cost $160, but they heavily reduced it to 100 something. Not almost a third of the price was gone, and I couldn't resist.
Well, if it's 160, that's 280s, and it's called an 8080, so it makes sense.
Oh wow, that's pretty.
Yeah, we're going there.
Yeah. That's how you sell that stuff. No, then I also got a Chinese pirate boat from 2017 that I could get for a reasonable price because Lego goes up in price like crazy. I wanted to get the Imperial flagship, which is it was a 100 and something at the time, and now it's 1,000. But yeah, that's Lego.
Dude, what?
And then more skate. Yeah, the prices for Lego increase like crazy.
I had no idea.
For some limited edition sets and older sets, yeah, for sure.
Not even limited edition, just ships. People love pirates, people love ships, people love big, awesome stuff. And maybe 20 years from now, who knows?
Yeah, I didn't know there was a market for that. That's cool.
The thing is, it's got to be in the box and unbuilt because nobody buys like the finished product, right?
Yeah.
And other than that, something that I've really enjoyed if you had asked me before I did it whether I would enjoy it, I would have told you, no, this is stupid, I hate that. And that was EDH. I was invited to our friend Vince, Pleasant Kenobi's stream, or rather YouTube, where we recorded an EDH episode with like 4 people. And, I played Elves. I actually don't remember what the other... Oh, he played Death in Texas. Caleb Durward played Reanimator. And Dukes on Twitch played Maverick. And honestly, I really, really enjoyed that. And part of that, for me, is I actually got to understand how to enjoy EDH. I don't think of it as a format anymore. I think of it as a board game. And when I go to like friends and I play a board game... No, seriously, like, hear me out. When I go to my friends, we play like Settlers, Catan, whatever, and we sit there, we have fun, we have some drinks, we eat some like, I don't know, crisps, whatever, anything. Like just hang out with your friends, have a good time, and it's not about, oh yeah, I gotta win tonight, I gotta play it really well, I gotta prepare notes. It's about the experience, and that's for the first time ever that I understood that that's what EDH is about. And I was actually invited to another episode, and I don't know when it's gonna be revealed yet, but it was some craziness.
I've got a sliver of hope it's soon.
it's you're onto something. That was one of the craziest episodes I've ever been to. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but check it out. We're gonna link it in the show notes. Pleasant Kenobi, Winston Chandler, and yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've also been playing some Legacy. Finally playing some big tournaments again. And
you've done okay at them, haven't you? So it wasn't last weekend. It was the weekend. Well, we've just had a weekend. I'm going crazy. This is Monday. Hey. Not this weekend just gone, but the weekend before, we had the Legacy Showcases. The Legacy Showcase Challenge, and we had the Vintage one, and Modern one, Pioneer one. And why don't you tell us how your Legacy Showcase Challenge went?
Yeah, that's quite a name, right? I think Wizards has like a random tournament name generator that just like Showcase, Challenge, Qualifier, Mythic, Invitation. It's just like they roll the dice, and that's what comes out. So
I do understand I read how it's all structured for Magic Online events, and I think I'd tell you how they work. And it took me reading the articles multiple times, and I finally got there. And nobody can work it out. Yamakilla, the streamer, he actually wrote a thing and charged people to explain, to understand how it all works. It's genius grifting. I think it was great. And if I didn't know previously, I would have probably paid a few dollars to get it all laid out in a much easier to read way. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Challenges lead into qualifiers,
You're that sage on the mountain that people like meet to understand the meaning of life, the universe, and Magic Online. That's how it works. Honestly, I played in that thing, and I'm still not sure what I'm qualified for, but I got a top 4, which means I'm qualified for the Legacy Showcase qualifier, which follows the challenge. But yeah, we've made that joke a couple of times. It's getting old, I guess.
Yeah, it shouldn't be the other way around, but
I guess it makes sense because that qualifier qualifies you for another qualifier, which I think 10 years down the line you will actually be able to run for president or something.
Just in
it's
case
a really weird system they have there.
Just in case anyone is interested, it goes Legacy Showcase Challenge is the first step. If you top 8 that, you get a token which you can use to enter into a Legacy Showcase qualifier. That Legacy Showcase qualifier, the winner of that gets invited to a Showcase playoff.
Oh my Jesus Christ!
It doesn't end there.
The Legacy Showcase playoff, I believe, is like a special event where you have a min prize of $5,000. You have to have won the qualifier to be entered into this, and it's like a 16 or 30 person tournament. I'm gonna get cut.
I thought it was
there.
24.
24. There we go. I'm in the middle, and but once you get to that, it's a pretty big game. You get $500,000 minimum, I believe, and from there, the winner gets an invite to Mox and the Pro Tour. Whatever that is now, they've changed how that all works. So I'm not sure about that end bit.
Yeah, I think it might qualify you for the Players Tour, which then qualifies you for the Players Tour final, which then can
the grand finals.
Qualify you for the MPL, and that qualifies you for the grand finals or something.
Yeah.
There's 8 layers of bullshit to play tournaments. This is ridiculous.
I've got. I usually keep up with everything. I usually have an okay understanding, but I've just given up within the last year. I don't know. Magic Online I'll try to keep up with, but it's too much.
I just wanted to play in that thing because it said, hey, you can enter with your QPs, which are the qualifier. Okay, that's a totally different story. I could enter the tournament for free, basically. And I figured, okay, that's probably going to be okay if I get some prizes. And yeah, got top 4, playing Elves. Nice. let's just quickly go through the entire top 8 so people can get an idea of what that looked like. So in first place, we actually have a big fan of the combo of the podcast Wembo Combo 2020, one of the biggest fans of Everyday Channel. They got first place with Canadian Threshold, straight up rock delver.
You know they're 14 years old.
I've been playing Legacy longer than. Oh my god, I'm old.
Yeah,
So-
if you get into Legacy like really early and you understand everything, like I can totally see that. Like why would they not? Second place we got Testacular playing Elves, knocked me out in the semifinals. That was not quite the match, but great guy. I watched the stream, like not while I was playing, but I've seen him stream, and he even gave me some tips on how to play Valorant and stuff. Third
Nice.
place we got Kai Savatari, or formerly known the player formerly known as Kai Thiele. Friend from Berlin. He actually lived close to Munich at the time. Now he lives in Tokyo playing Doomsday.
We
Really cool to
actually
see Kai on
have the
Magic
same
Online.
birthday, which is very important.
That's why you have met on the podcast, by the way. You do? Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fourth place, we got another Elves guy. So we got 2 Elves in the top 4. That would be me. Fifth place, we got the Power 9 playing ANT, not TES. They played ANT. They were like my only loss in the Swiss. Sixth place, Sakuragi and then a whole bunch of numbers playing Hogak. Seventh place, my 0024 playing Eldrazi Aggro, which came down to be basically almost Eldrazi in Texas. It was more like on the Eldrazi side, but they had some Texas aspects.
Well, you know what's
And-
crazy about this deck? Look where the chalices are.
In the side part?
Yeah, and I have some theories on why that's good. So if every deck is playing Hogak and Abrupt Decays and like there's so many main deck answers to it, they've gone for 4 Thorn of Amethyst in the main deck instead, basically. This means they get to play Source of Plowshares in the main deck for Delver because it's so popular, and Uro, which they have a problem with. And then the Thorns make the Okos cost 4, the Abrupt Decays cost 3, just slows it all down.
I like
so
that.
really, really smart deck building.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Thorns probably like have a much, especially with now Elves also being much less vulnerable to Chalice. I guess the Thorns don't hurt Elves, but I get the overall idea that Chalice in general doesn't have like that much value anymore.
Yeah, so this is
you can just like drop it.
really out there, smart deck building.
They also have a land, Matt. Do you know what it does? Because I wouldn't have known. Shepherd Dunes.
What in the sweet hell?
Yeah, it's a desert. It counts as
All
a
right,
desert.
we got a reader.
So it's
Okay.
gonna power your camel.
Adds a colorless, pay 1 life, add a white. Okay, pretty bad. 2 white, tap, sack a desert. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. Well, this seems like a miserable card.
Well, it's kind of like a dual land for them because it gives them the waste mana for the Eldrazi's, but it also gives them the white mana for
Yeah,
the white
it's,
spells.
it's definitely not bad. For them.
Yeah.
For everything else, miserable.
I wonder how often well, I don't want to call it an ultimate, but that's what it feels like ability comes up. I guess it's just like some extra value tacked on basically a dual land, right? People used to play
Yeah.
Caves of Cordyceps.
Exactly. Like you could either play the Caves and have an outside chance of casting like the Leyline of the Voids in the sideboard with Urborg and Caves, or you could play Shepherd Dunes and hope to activate it. But I have no idea which one comes up more. Probably like 0 to 1 times in 50 matches. Yeah,
Something like
Marginal value here.
exactly.
Marginal
Just flip a coin and choose which one.
that. They also have a one of Urborg Tomb of Chakmoth, which would allow them to cast Leyline, but at this
Yeah.
point, I probably, honestly, if you ask me, I wouldn't even play the Urborg. I'd probably play like the third Wasteland.
I
But
was
that's
going to
just
say
me.
2 Wasteland seems a little, I don't know, I'd want to go a little heavier on the Wasteland. But that's, I don't know.
Yeah. Especially compared to Urborg. But yeah, I mean, overall, that's like some really smart stuff that's going on that I really like that a lot.
Urborg's pretty good in Eldrazi decks because it lets you use Ivugin for mana as well, so it's like 3 mana, and then Ancient Tomb can tap for mana when you're low on
Oh,
life.
that's good.
It's pretty good.
The Ancient Tomb thing that comes up so often. I think when I played them, the Ancient Tomb also they drained them for like 14 or something.
Exactly. They used to play like 2 or 3 Urborgs, so gone down to 1 now that they have like white producing lands, I think. But it's pretty good in the deck, I think.
Awesome. And then in 8th place we have HJ Cloud playing. Well, wouldn't you know it? Death and Taxes.
I thought this deck
Is
was
it
dead.
back? Yeah, allegedly, but.
Yeah.
So do we call it like Reanimator or something?
Oh yeah, what's a bring? Yeah, I guess Reanimator works. But
Yeah, I think he was quite fond of Skyclave Apparition, right? Is,
Yeah,
is
this-
that the card that's bringing Death and Taxes back?
yeah, this card is just absolutely killer. It's such a nicely designed card as well. It's so good for the deck. It's just a sweet card. And yeah, I'm really happy to see XJ do well because he's obviously fantastic with the deck. He has a few things different. Like, it's mostly stock. He has 2 Spirit of the Labyrinth main deck, which is a really nice nod to like Snow, because it's like stopping Astrolabes, Ice Fang sometimes, Uro and stuff. So it's well positioned.
Also Elves.
Elves as well. Yeah, because it always Elves is popular. So yeah, nice. He has a sort of Feast and Famine in the sideboard as well. I guess it's another nod to green being strong. Yeah.
It doesn't almost matter like what the effect is going to be. I guess the other option would be sort of Body and Mind, which gives you 2/2 tokens, and mills your opponent, which isn't always ideal.
Yeah, exactly. At least the sword here is like you can untap your ports and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's actually really sweet.
Yeah.
And this card can come in handy, right? I would guess.
Yeah. But the reason the deck is like at least doing well again, I think, is Skyclave Apparition. It's so good.
I think I saw him mention that either on Twitter or like in one of his streams that he's really, really into Skyclave Apparition. By the way, I think you mentioned that or somebody else. Wizards should not be allowed to print a creature that has sky in the name that doesn't fly. I mean, it's a spirit. It's got sky in the name. It's levitating in the artwork, and yet it doesn't have flying. Like, that's gonna fuck up at least me once.
When we did our set review, I did a PSA. Everyone, this does not have flying. The token doesn't have flying.
I remember that.
It's bullshit. You can say the word. It's bullshit. But yeah, it is. It is not flying. I was playing some cube with friends last night, and I had it in my deck, and I attacked with it into a non-flying creature. So yeah, even when you know it, it happens.
So are they just using this to bounce like Okos and Uros, or not bounce, but you know what I mean, like remove, like is that your primary target with this, or what's? Yeah,
I imagine Oko is the main target, and it's a nice like icing on the cake that when the Skyclave Apparition dies, it basically turns the Oko. They get a 3/3, so it elks it essentially, which is a nice little flavor text.
That's pretty good.
But yeah, like the deck didn't have a way of taking Oko out without Council Judgment or attacking it down, and attacking Oko down just takes so long and so much damage that they can't put into them. So being able to just have a main deck easy way to remove it is insane.
Yeah,
like,
EOT Vial.
Yeah, and you can tutor for it with Recruiter of the Guard as well. So
that's what I was thinking.
You're just always going to have one. It's so good. Yeah.
That's just like the kind of power level I really enjoy when they print new cards. It's obviously not going to be crazy, and there is a serious drawback. It just happens so that in the current state of Legacy, having like a random XX flying, not even flying, random XX creature doesn't really do too much, and Death and Taxes especially is super well set up to like deal with vanilla creatures, basically. And yeah, that's something I really, really like about the card. I wonder if we're going to see more of that. Like the exciting part about it also is like if it dies, whatever you remove doesn't come back. It stays removed forever. So at the very worst case, you 2-for-1 yourself. But if you did that and you don't even really 2-for-1 yourself, you're more like 2-for-2 yourself, and then your opponent gets a random creature you don't care about.
And then you can also you can protect it with Mother of Runes. You can flicker wisp the token if you need to. Oh
my god.
Yeah, there's just a lot of ways you can deal with it. It also has the old templating. So I think you mentioned it on the set review as well, where they had to word it like this, so it makes sense. But you can put it in either casting it or a vial. Actually, you need to cast it unless you had 2 vials. And then in response to the first trigger, you can vial in a flicker wisp, flicker it. It then gives them a token, which is a 0. And then it comes back in, you get to exile 2 things. So I imagine that comes up a fair amount as well.
Knowing that trick is very important.
Yeah.
You're so close to having like a playable spirit decks in Legacy.
Yeah, it's also like a kind of relevant creature type, because I see, I don't know if he has Cavern of Souls. So XJ wasn't playing Cavern of Souls in this build, but if you have it in the deck, like you name Core for Stoneforge Mystic and Skyclave Apparition as well. Like it carries across, or you can name Spirit for Spirit the Labyrinth and Skyclave. So if you did have that.
If you still cared about having our stuff countered. I feel like when my stuff gets countered in Legacy, at least with Elves, first of all, it very rarely happens that relevant stuff gets countered, but I guess, yeah.
Is that because of a certain 1-drop?
Yeah, exactly, because we have LSR Shepherd. And I don't want to go too deep into like my entire run in the tournament, but it was like insanely smooth. I think it was 2-0s all around in the Swiss, and then I got like a 1-2 against A&T. And then I got a 2-1 in the quarterfinals because, well, okay, I didn't play well, but that's always what people say, as if it like explains something. Oh, I didn't play well. Yeah, maybe your opponent also didn't play well, but he still played better. But yeah, you get the idea, right?
I can't believe you only got a 2-1. It's pretty disappointing. I might leave the podcast because of that.
Oh, that's so bad.
Were there any like actually interesting matches you played though?
No.
Or was it just a knife through butter?
No.
No, you just kill people.
The thing is, the level to which Allosaurus Shepherd has dumped down Elves is obscene.
Okay.
I mean, Elves is still quite technical, and I mean, you don't always have a matchup where Allosaurus Shepherd matters, or you don't always have Allosaurus Shepherd, and there's like certain things to consider with it. Like, you don't blindly slam it, but barely blindly, almost blindly. And there's just like matches, especially in the first game, when you don't have to fight against Submerge. You go first against Delver, and then you drop your entire hand on the board on the second turn after they went turn 1 Ponder, and you literally know there's fucking nothing they can do. And even if they play a Tarmogoyf or what have you, or anything, a Dreadhorde Arcanist, it doesn't matter, because like on your third turn, you just heavily overrun them. Like, it's over, man. It's totally over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because previously you could never really dump your hand on the board on the second turn because of days. There was always like this one thing that you couldn't do, and then of course you choose a completely different path to like maximize your stuff for turn 4 and stuff. Like, basically with Elves, you're sometimes like looking to see where you will be peaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you.
And with Allosaurus Shepherd, you can just like peak as soon as possible, especially in the first game, and then there's just like nothing they can do. And the most obscene thing is if they actually have Rough Tumble after sideboarding, but you can like randomly tap your Elves to generate 6 mana, and then you just make your Elves 5/5s, and they're like, okay, Rough Tumble, whatever, man.
That's such nonsense. I love it. And they even become dinosaurs, don't they?
Yeah, they actually make that roar.
Yeah.
That sounds more like a chicken, I guess.
You had a theory, didn't you, about how the card came about, or how it does what it does?
The flavor, you mean?
Yeah.
I probably shared that like way too many times, but I can show. It's not like a theory. It's
Okay.
like
Just random Julian thoughts.
This is
I
facts
guess it's
now.
it's as much a theory as gravity's a theory. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
gravity's not
theory,
real,
but
obviously. So
okay, I guess there's a different podcast for that. No, but the thing is, the way it works is the Allosaurus Shepherd is very much appreciated by the Elves community because she's taking care of all the Allosauruses. And nobody really knows why. Like the younglings, the young Elves, they grow up, they become like 200 years, they still don't understand why is everybody so fond of like the work that Allosaurus Shepherd does. But then here comes the time of greatest need, say a Rough Tumble coming your way. And then the Allosaurus Shepherd, he literally has to kill her baby. He literally has to kill her babies. No, she literally has to kill her babies. She chops up all the Allosauruses, chop, and then she makes some super awesome Allosaurus stew, and all the Elves, they feast on it, and they're like nom, nom, nom. Like all the while the Rough Tumble is approaching, but the Elves can eat pretty fast, and they eat it, and they become infused with this dinosauric energy, and they rise up, and because they ate so much dinosaur, they literally become dinosaur. In German we say du bist was du isst, you become what you eat. I guess that makes sense in English as well.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happens to them. So they absorb those allosauric powers,
nice.
And at the same time they also become dinosaurs, and that's what happens. And of course the Allosaurus Shepherd also goes to town like nom, 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 and
nice.
she also
I mean,
becomes
you
dinosaur.
can't.
How much wine have you had?
And now about 16 Fahrenheit, I think they would say in English.
16 Fahrenheit.
Like half a glass.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
I think we need a bit more to start asking questions about like other cards.
I mean, I'm looking at this, I'm like, man, can I fit this card into Nick Fit? Can I?
Oh yeah.
People have tried.
Uncountable
Oh my
Siege
god.
Rhinos.
The price on this damn thing. Jesus.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Legacy, Matt.
Holy fuck.
What is it right now?
Well, I just went on TCG Player, right? Because, I mean, what else am I going to do? And let's see, market price normal, $100.52.
Oh, the 52 cents, man, that's killing it.
The 52 cents has got me.
Honestly, like in Europe, we expect it to come down as the set it's in is slowly released over here because Wizards has had issues with that because of COVID and everything. So people expect it to come down a little bit. And honestly, like with how popular the card is, we hope there's going to be a reprint at some point. At the same time, I don't want stupid cards like this to enter the format, but I also don't want it banned because we already have like so much stupid stuff and then Elves can't survive. So if it was to be banned, I want like 7 other cards to be banned as well. But if you ask me for my objective opinion, Wizards, this is one of the stupidest cards I have ever played with in 15 years of playing Legacy. This is peak stupidity. This is peak bluntness. And I love it because that's exactly what we need right now. But oh god, man,
Stupidity to fight stupidity, right?
It's the fire. Fight fire with fire.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't even want to be like, oh yeah, stupid, whatever. But the thing is, at some point, once you reach a certain power level in any format, and I'm not a format or card designer, but that's something I truly believe in. If you get to a certain level, the only way to fight that power level is with cards that say, you can't, you will not, can't be countered, can't be targeted, can't. And that's, in the long run, I think that makes for bad gameplay, because you want people to still be able to do a lot of things and then see how those things match up against each other.
True to Nemesis.
Yeah, the more blunt the weapon, the more stupid whatever you do to... Well, okay, we're going back to stupidity. I didn't want to use that word because that's such like...
I still think Trinity Nemesis is one of the worst play pattern cards in the whole format. Even if it's not played much now, I would prefer to be playing against Oko than True Name any day, honestly.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? Because there's like the dumb bluntness versus just being overpowered but interactive. And that's also why those ban discussions that people always have, they don't really lead to anything, because in a way both sides are right, but they don't really fully acknowledge the other person's point. Like, Oko is quite interactive, like a Planeswalker is interactive, unless it can't be attacked or whatever.
It's similar to, it has the Death Threat Shaman problem where it's overpowered, it's just slightly undercosted, or its abilities are slightly too good, but it's not that far over the envelope of like too good and stuff. And I don't know. I still think the card is fine in the format, honestly. It's not fun to play against. But like I said, I think Trinity Nemesis is one of the most miserable cards ever printed. So I can have some Elks, I don't care, as long as I don't play against that.
You know, back in my day, the only thing that had Super Shroud was a troll.
Oh,
now
Troll
they're putting
Aesthetic.
it on Murpho.
That guy was amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Thrun or Troll Aesthetic?
Yeah, it still died to
Troll
Perish.
Aesthetic.
That was the metagame that I loved the most. Like, you put Thrun to play to counter those decks, and then they had Perish, and it said you can't regenerate. And Tron is like, oh shit, I can't regenerate.
Yep, that bury all green creatures clause gets you every time.
Thrun these days would, like, you could cast it from the graveyard for 3 mana, and I don't know.
And escape cost is like you draw an extra card or something.
Yeah, probably. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's that. I want to talk about one more card, looking back at the cards that we predicted to maybe have an impact on Legacy. And that is Felidar Retreat. You famously almost deleted it from our spoiler thingy, from our show notes, only for me to put it back. The card actually, I mean, I think it has legs, right? We've seen it used.
Like I've said to you a couple of times, I'll put my hands up. I was wrong about this card. Yeah, you predicted that it'd be good in like snow decks as like another like threat that's hard to interact with, especially in the mirrors. So it can't be Erupticade, it can't be Pyroblasted.
Can't be attacked.
Can't be attacked. Yeah, it's legitimately super strong in the mirrors and probably against any kind of fair deck. And we've seen it in Snow. Jarvis, you were streaming the other night with a Snow deck with, I think, one main deck, one sideboard. I asked him how it went, and he said it was very good in the mirrors, as you expect. He played 2 of them. So yeah, good call out and funny artwork.
Yeah, I wonder if we're going to see more of it.
I want to try. I would love to give a shout out and credit. I've just completely forgotten where, but I saw a Twitter post of, I think they were Italian. A player posted a Naya like landfall deck, which looked sick. It was like Elvish Reclaimer, Night of Valkyrie, 2 or 3 Felidar Retreats, and then like Primeval Titan or 2 maybe. And it was just like landfall matters, but in a legacy power level. It looked awesome. So that looks cool to try.
Didn't they actually 5-0 with it?
I think they 4-1'd.
4-1? Okay. Oh, the Italians are getting really, really active on Twitter now. I think another one tagged me in his list where he had like an Omnath build. Omnath?
Omnath. The card that was just banned in Standard today.
And probably like 7 other formats.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Or I think in some formats it might be suspended. That's because that's what they do if they don't want to refund whatever you paid for it.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of funny how that actually works in Arena.
It's been, cards do get unsuspended. Like the unsuspended Burning Tree Emissary today.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So it's, if you're a 2/2 for 2, you might get off the list again.
Awesome.
But yeah, Felidar Retreat, super excited to see where that goes. I also wanted to try it in like the Titan Stompy kind of lists as well. The White Splash was already bordering on good because you could play Sideboard Source of Plowshares, and Knight is great in the deck, I assume. So definitely interested in like trying 2 or 3 there, because you have Ancient Tombs, you have Mox Diamonds, so you could like power it out, then use Remnant Excavators to do fetch land tricks and stuff. So that's another cool way I want to try it.
Honestly, Matt, this is the kind of payoff you should look into in NICFIT. Because with NICFIT, with Veteran Explorer, you could actually get... Okay, I guess NICFIT wouldn't really care about getting a bunch of tutus. But, yeah.
I mean, but it's not about necessarily the tutus. Having the 1/1 vigilance on your creatures as well is pretty good. So, like, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking to rebuilding NICFIT. Tomas Vlachek has been on my case about getting back into playing NICFIT. And he's like, Siege Rhino's garbage. You just need to, like, stop playing Siege Rhino and don't even... Just forget about it and, like, get into the program. I'm like, no, I will never give up on Siege Rhino.
Dude, I would actually pay good money to hear you guys discuss Siege Rhino because Tomas, like, good friend of ours, ever since he left Miracles, like Top Miracles, or rather Top Miracles left him by force, he's been so deep into the cult of NICFIT, I guess. And, man, we gotta get him out at some point. I don't know.
I mean, he realizes that the power level is there, and he's like tuning like with village rights, and he's going real deep. He's doing well.
Nice.
But in the local Prague Legacy community, so we might have to pull him onto the cast and maybe.
No disrespect for Prague, man.
No. I mean, we might have to pull him onto the cast, pull him out of the darkness, and pick his brain a little bit.
I'd love to.
Awesome.
Maybe do a NICFIT cast.
Everyday NICFIT. Oh my god. And speaking of picking somebody's brain, I would love to have Marc Vogt on the cast in future episodes maybe. Marc is a good friend of ours. For those who don't know, like Marc was probably like one of the very first people I met in Legacy ever once I got into the format. And last year he actually won the GP, Bologna GP. And now he's back on Magic Online. I think he took a hiatus from Magic Online that lasted like... I don't know if it's 5 or 10 years, but it felt like he took a hiatus forever. But now he's back and he's doing really, really well in Magic Online. He just won the latest Legacy Challenge playing Bant Miracles. Surprise, surprise. List is somewhat straightforward, except for, I want to say, like 3 choices. First of all, the big one, he's got Carpet of Flowers in the main.
That's
but
big
bam.
game. That's big game.
Dude, that card is Marc always has these things. I remember when he ended up cutting like some Swords to Plowshares from Miracles at some point and played Pyroblast main back when it wasn't really a thing, but he figured that Pyroblast is more useful in more matchups than Swords to Plowshares. And I guess that's the same reasoning he has for Carpet of Flowers. That card is like a really big deal. So I wonder how common Carpet of Flowers in the main is going to be in the time to come.
I mean, that's the Jeremy Edwards special around here. There's a gentleman in Seattle who was playing a deck. I can't remember what deck he was like. Was it a Maverick or something like that? And he was playing like 2 or 3 Carpet Flowers in the main deck, and this would have been maybe about 2 years ago. And he was crushing people. It was great.
Didn't he play Enchantress? I remember that Enchantress.
Yeah, he definitely used to play Enchantress, but he also plays a bunch of different decks as well.
Isn't he actually ESG?
Yeah, he is.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah.
Oh, see? Oh, man. I know my Legacy old schoolers. Anyway. The second card that I find super interesting is Archmage's Charm. And actually, damn, I didn't put it up. I figured I know what it does, but now I gotta look it up.
Is
I know
it
can
one
steal a Marred Lodge.
counters a spell and one takes control of something, and I don't know.
Yeah. You can counter spell, draw 2 cards, or you can take a opponent with mana cost 1 or less. So you can steal a Merit Lage.
You can take their Carpet of Flowers. Da-da.
Yeah. You can take Vials, Delvers, Carpet of Flowers, Merit Lages, Chalice if you want.
Halfway through that sentence, you're like, fuck.
Mother Runes.
That card was rumored to be Legacy playable when it was first printed, but then people didn't really play it, even though...
It was mostly like Anurag and Marcus just running around in circles screaming.
But you get that on any like triple blue instant.
Yeah, I mean the card is so sweet. Come on.
And
I guess I'm talking to Allosaurus Shepherd and NICFIT.
I like the card quite a lot. You can actually steal your opponent's Allosaurus Shepherd with it. That's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And oh my god, there's a Sharknado.
Yes. Shark Typhoon is so good. I'm surprised he has like only one, but actually I guess it's not been showing up too much. It's kind of solidified itself as like a roughly 2 of in these super late game grindy Oko Uro based decks. I think Chase is often playing 2 in his either Yorion builds or not. Anurag's often played 2 in Snow. I think Anurag actually cut Ice Fangs for more Shark Typhoons as well, because they do pretty similar things.
Nobody's looking to block creatures anymore, because creatures either they die before they can attack, and if they do get to attack, you just win the game, That's what it feels like. It's like, oh, I'm not doing the blocking thing because if you're blocking, you're losing. I think that's like how it's working in Legacy right now.
Yeah. I'm interested. Marc's also got 2 Terminus. We haven't seen Terminus in so long. It's just, I don't know. I kind of honestly forgot it existed. It's funny. I feel bad, but
it's still etched in my nightmares. But that's whatever.
When was the last time you saw Terminus, Julian?
I guess it's a bit of a concession to how weak the deck is to tribal. Imagine this deck without Terminus. I think Elves, Goblins, walks all over it. Like, especially the main deck.
Yeah.
I mean, you can always get some kind of starts where, like, the tribal deck struggles, and then you Swords to Plowshare something important, or Force of Will twice and something important, get Uro going, or Planeswalker or something. Those starts exist. But on average, I would expect, at least let me speak for Elves to heavily walk all over this.
Yeah.
After sideboarding, he gets some stuff against tribal, like, is it Static Cast if that works? And
Canonist
that's
against Elves.
Canonist against Elves, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think even Terminus is, I don't know. It's actually quite good against Muxus, but against Goblins in general, I used to cut Terminuses against Goblins. Like, you need
it's not how you're winning, right?
You need to swords their ringleaders because you can't put them back in their deck because they just matron for them again. It's awful, but it's lovely as well at the same time.
But that's the kind of strategic depth that I really enjoy to a matchup, where the matchup is so deep.
Yeah.
You think about stuff like that, like the ringleader being put back by Terminus, so you actually have to exile it. That's the kind of legacy I love and I want to see.
It took me like probably 6 months of playing quite a lot of Miracles against Goblin players in London to realize I keep dying to ringleaders being searched by matrons again. So I had to swords the ringleaders over the war chiefs and then Terminus everything else. It was very interesting though. I'd love to have asked him how it performed because, again, like I said, we haven't seen it for a while. Maybe people are just not playing around it anymore, which would make sense. Like if I was playing against generic Bant Miracles and if I didn't know the list, I wouldn't be playing around Terminus.
You wouldn't? I would. I don't know.
Yeah.
I felt it was like always still at 2 or 3 of.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, like you're deeper into that kind of community right now. But
the thing is, look at the cards in the deck. There's just no way to know this is not like your classic Snow. It's the same deck. It's we're calling it Miracles, but it's Snow. Just yeah.
Yeah, it looks like basically like Snowco, right?
It is
I mean,
Snowco
but that's always
with
been the
2
thing
Terminus.
about like Snowco and Bant Miracles, right? They always looked like pretty similar.
They're the same deck. I don't know. The people that call them different are like
I don't know, man.
You took my line.
Like the
Close
Snowco,
enough.
they usually don't play white.
Yeah.
Like the Snowco list, they usually play like red
they
or
do.
black. I mean, they do sometimes
They play
play
swords.
5 color.
They play swords, yeah.
I think we're quibbling over semantics here. But anyway.
Yeah.
Honestly, no, I think the Snowco lists are like quite different. Like Snowco, I often see stuff like Dreaded Arcanist in Snowco.
Oh,
It's just like they don't play Deva.
that's something different.
I don't know, man.
Anyway, what is also interesting, he has 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor. Jace is back! When was the last time you saw a Jace? I guess you need more ways to put Terminus on top. That's the way to do it. He has 4 Brainstorms, 4 Ponders, of course. He has like 1 Preordain. Other than that, he has a Sylvan Library. Other than that, he has no ways to like set the Terminuses up. So I can see the Jace as being important to at least like carry on with the Miracle game.
Oh, and speaking of Sylvan Library, since we just talked about the differences, I think the biggest difference between like Action Snowco and this is that Action Snowco has black for Abrupt Decay and also Plague Engineer, which is like the card that always gets me when I play against them, and this one doesn't.
That's true,
And
that's true.
Marc mentioned that the biggest thing about not having black is not having access to Abrupt Decay. So Sylvan Library on the other side of the board is like big deal, especially in matchups where you don't really want to bring in build. I guess you can cycle build if it ever comes up.
Yeah.
And you don't need to kill Sylvan Library. But yeah, that's something that he mentioned he's really scared of. And yeah, Sylvan Library has, I think one of the trends that we saw in Legacy over the last 6 or 7 months is that people didn't really play too many Sylvan Libraries anymore because it was like landing a Haymaker early and protect it and then ride it to victory. And if you spend your second turn playing Sylvan Library, then you gotta play a really defensive game, right? Then you really gotta stop their Haymaker, and then in the long run you can leverage your Sylvan Library. And I guess he kinda is trying to do that, right? He's playing 7 Forces, which I was super excited for, but just as we talked about it, you told me that that's actually a pretty common thing, or at least used to for a while.
Yeah.
To me, it was like super exciting because I've known this kind of deck to play like 4 Forces and then 2 Force of Negation, and then that's it. But Marc is actually playing 4 Force of Negation in the main deck and 3 Force of Wills. And he mentioned that hardcasting the Force of Negation actually comes up quite a bit, which is, I guess, the reason why he's playing 4 of those and only 3 Forces.
Yeah. I guess the 7 Forces is not super uncommon, but 4 Force of Negation is. and 3/4 of will is. So that's the splitting hairs bit. So it is quite unusual. So I haven't seen 3/4 of will since, I think the last time I saw 3/4 of will was when someone did well at a GP when Death Threat Shaman was legal. It's been quite a while ago. So yeah, it's the 3/4 of wills, which is unusual. So I guess he's just saying I don't care about creatures because he has the 4 Swords of Plowshares, 3 Ice Fang Coils, 2 Terminus to mop up creatures. And so if you're just countering non-creature spells, which I could definitely see this build doing, then Force Negation is going to be often better. You don't lose a life, you can hardcast them, as he says. The hardcast things come up all the time, even for Force of Will in these kind of decks. So yeah, it does make sense. I feel like you lose a little bit against Delver because you do want Force of Will for the Arcanist sometimes, but
Dude, hasn't that been like the discussion of the last couple of months where people are like, no, Delver is favored. It's like, no, Snowco is favored. No, Delver is really favored. It's like, no, I just like, I sit there as a somewhat outsider to that matchup because I like, if I play the decks, I probably play them an equal amount. And it's, I don't know, man. It's just like the Delver stereotype. The Delver considers themselves favored against everyone, but then also everyone considers themselves favored against Delver. It's like Schrödinger's Delver. It's
oh yeah,
weird.
Delver player says, I'm 65% against the field. You know, it's pretty much the best deck in the format.
Yeah, the Delver player will tell you that they're like 60-40 in the mirror, and you're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense at all.
I'm just better, you know.
There was an amazing thread on Reddit recently where someone said, like, what beats Delver? I want to know. And I think every single Legacy deck down to tier 3 was listed in the comments.
That's amazing.
I think that might actually be the most common question in Legacy, in the history of Legacy. What beats Delver?
The answer is
Tempo in
Nick
general.
Fit. Nick Fit beats Delver.
Oh, I don't know about that, man. We're gonna have a 1st to 10 Matt playing Nick Fit against Daniel Gutschel and Delver, and I want to see how that's gonna go. It's probably gonna take something like 20 days, so you probably couldn't even like fully play it out or something. Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's just like a random thought here. Yeah, that's the Force, the Bant Snow Miracles deck. If you want to take advantage of that kind of deck, you can do it. It's just so that the metagame right now doesn't really look to take advantage of this kind of heavily, like at this point I'm willing to call it a control deck, right? I'm always like, oh, people call their mid-range deck a control deck, but here I'm down. I can call this a control deck.
Yeah,
this is very much a control deck.
I mean, Jace does make a difference as well. So it has more threats than usual, but Jace is an end game which changes the dynamic and how a deck plays. Like with 7 forces, especially the forces negations, you're like kind of hoping to just slam Jace, force whatever they cast, especially if it's an Oko to like threaten a 3/3 to kill the Jace. It's kind of like it's control, but it's tap out in the way that you can tap out because you have forces, but then when you untap, the force negations are very castable. So it's actually reaping the rewards of both worlds of draw go and being able to tap out. So it's tapped into that area of things.
You mentioned it has more threats, and the thing is, like, if you think about Oko, in effect, like, it really is a Phyrexian arena that instead of losing 1 life, it actually gains you 3 life, and then it also happens to 6 your opponent every turn. Yeah. So it's more like a Phyrexian arena that happens also to be a threat, but yeah.
It also just kills very fast. Like, this is why I think Oko is so scary. It's not really the threat of elking everything, which does happen quite a lot. But like, if you try and play the slower game against these things, Oko will come down and like be attacking you for 9 on the second turn. It's down. Kills very quickly.
Oh, did I say Oko? I meant Uro.
Uro, okay,
I had those names so similar. Ah, man.
Yeah.
Those names are way too similar. I meant Uro.
You can just say one of the Simic monsters, the longer they stay in play, the more advantage they get.
Yeah, that's the theme. That's what Wizards was going for, I guess. So, yeah. So that's what we were talking about here. Something I also want to touch on now is Secret Lair Walking Dead. The most talked about thing.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess I'm quickly gonna go about what it actually is in case you guys don't know yet, because there might be some people. And then I would actually like to hear explicitly Matt's thoughts about that before we discuss it. So, Walking Dead, apparently it's like a series that's in the 10th season now, but it's way past its prime. So, I guess Wizards was like, yeah, now we gotta go for it. That's our sweet spot. No, so
that sounds like Wizards.
Yeah, they printed a Secret Lair, which means you buy it directly from Wizards. I think it's like, is it like $50 or $60, something like that? It's only available for a limited amount of time. I think you can only buy it today, and then it's gonna be gone. And it has a bunch of cards in it. And we would think that those cards are not playable, because that's like always a bad thing, right? When there's like a very limited amount and a very limited supply of those cards, and I think they're also only available in North America or something. And if those cards end up being playable, that's a problem. I guess now I'm already going to judging them, but yeah, that's what the cards are. Not gonna go about. Actually, yeah. So, Matt, what do you think? Have you looked at the cards? What do you think about them?
I've briefly seen a few of the cards. I don't have them sitting here in front of me to critique. However, here's what I will say in general about something like this. I think this is ridiculous. I think this crossover shenanigans is absolutely ridiculous. As a special edition, whatever, not tournament legal, nothing commemorative bullshit to sell more things, whatever. Honestly, it's ridiculous. I just hate it. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon old man, but we need to keep our things separate. I mean, I stopped watching The Walking Dead after the season at the farm because that thing just dragged forever, and they could never win me back. And just no.
I like how you called it Secret Lair. What was the exact phrasing? Commemorative bullshit?
Yes.
Dude, one day I want to work for Wizards, and I just want to submit that as the word for one of our supplemental products. I want to see like how the community reacts to that.
Yeah, it's honestly, I don't know. I think that they should be just... They've got other fish to fry, and apparently they just have too much time in their hands, and they just want to push out more product for something that really, as we talked about, the height of this was, 8 years ago? 8 years ago? 6 years ago?
I never watched it. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Breaking Bad was still on when that show started, so, it's been a while.
Ooh, okay.
It's been a while. I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think? I don't know.
I kind of agree. I don't like the idea. I don't think they should be doing it, as everyone says. There's just really no need. I think the point you made about, why The Walking Dead? It's not really going. No one's watching it. No one's hyped about it. It's not a thing to be involving in Magic. I don't get that part of it. On the flip side, people are, losing their shit, and I get it's setting a bad precedent, and I don't think they should be doing it, to be clear. But at the same time, people are going crazy about these legacy playable cards, and yeah, some people have 5-0'd leagues with them in humans, but these cards are not good. They are not generally legacy playable cards. I feel bad because people might want them for Commander. That is a very different thing. So in that case, precedent's bad. But the people saying these cards are playable in legacy, this is a 4-mana threat for a niche deck humans, which it's probably quite good there. Cool. And then we have Glenn, which is a Wisp Selkie, whatever it's called, Cold Eye Selkie. I don't know. I could go on a rant about how people just kind of want the opportunity to get worked out about something. This is not Legacy's problem. These cards are not really Legacy cards. This is a Commander player's problem or setting a bad precedent problem. But I don't think this should be spilling over into outrage in the Legacy community, other than them caring about Magic as a whole rather than specifically Legacy.
That's kind of where I stand. I mean, I just want to be upset about something.
Yeah, if you want to be upset about something, this is perfect because it's completely bullshit and it shouldn't exist. But there was a lot of upset in the Legacy community about how Legacy players might have to buy these cards, and Glenn could be played with equipment and stuff, and it could revive Blue-White Stoneblade. It's a 3-mana 1/1 or a 2/2 or whatever, and it needs to attack and stuff, and it's just bad. I don't know. So I think a lot of the outrage was directed wrong, but yeah, like I said, if you want to be angry at something, this is perfect. What about you, Julian?
Well, I perceived it quite differently from how you apparently perceived it. To me, the thing is, and how I understood people is that these cards touch on being playable, and that's already getting a lot of people alarmed about it. It doesn't even matter whether they're going to be mainstays in the format. The very fact that we see them and we discuss them and we consider them and we see them doing well in both Vintage and Legacy is what's getting people alarmed, right? It's not necessarily about those current cards, because as they are printed, I agree, they are niche playable best, even though I'm pretty sure that Glenn is going to be a really good thing in Vintage, just because how it's worded differently from different cards that had that kind of effect in the past. But yeah, that's like a minor thing.
Just to be clear, this is like part of what I mean by setting a bad precedent. They are like close to being playable. I'm not saying at all that they're a fine idea, but yeah, that my rant was about other stuff. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, like I agree when people like specifically get in and say, "Oh, this is horrible for Legacy." I think that's surely not the case. But it does scare me to the extent of, well, is there going to be a Secret Lair somewhere down the future that I will have to buy to play my deck? Or like if I decide like 2 years from now I want to play, I don't know, humans, and then it turns out Rick is actually going to become like a stable 2-of in humans, and then that card is going to be like 300 euros or something. They have to buy 2 of those. I don't think that's happening with Rick, but we've set a precedence where that could happen. Even though Marc Rosewater, we gotta say that Marc Rosewater said on, I think, his blog that they can always reprint those cards if that becomes a thing. The thing that makes me a little bit on that is that they never really did do that enough for example, Modern, which was created as the solution to Legacy in the reserved list in a way. They're like, hey, we can reprint all the stuff in Modern. And then Modern still was like super expensive for most of its lifetime. And yeah, I get that Modern is still kind of alive. Okay.
Yeah.
But it does scare me too. Also, like, have you looked at Rick? There's guys wearing jeans and carrying around guns and stuff. Like, which kind of set are you going to reprint that? Is that going to be in the next Ravnica or something?
The artwork. Well, they won't reprint that literal card. I think what they meant is they can print the cards with different names and different artworks, but functionally the same.
Oh, so like a super breach of the reserved list that doesn't apply to Rick, I guess?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense. The only thing is like, okay, for these cards, it doesn't matter. But I guess if they did that for something like Brainstorm, now we got Mindstorm, and it's the same. And
well, this is why they use the word functional, right? Like if they say they can print a functional reprint.
Yeah,
I think it means they
can
can
play
do
8 of
something
those.
else. Yeah. I'd also like to point out, like, Secret Lair cards historically, this is the first like new ones for them, so it could be completely different. But Secret Lair cards have not been expensive so far. Even when you've had staples and stuff, like the cards are 15-20 euros or so on Magic Card Market as far as I could see, and these like Rick is pre-ordering at like 40 to 50 euros, and
wow. Okay,
Rick is like 30. So yeah, pricey, but these are pre-order prices as well. And if they became good, like I don't know what the print run is. I don't think
it's already over. You order today or you're not gonna get them.
Yeah, true. Okay,
like
fine.
Literally today, like October.
I think it runs out today. Yeah.
Oh jeez. See,
basically the way Secret Lair works is you have like a window of like sometimes only just a day, but I think for these ones it was a little longer, like a week or two, where you can order them and then you can never order them again, which is like the scary part. But I mean, that's also how it works. Like as a content creator, when you do t-shirts, that's something I learned. I've never done that, but I've seen others do it and they told me it's successful. Like when you sell t-shirts, you only make them available for like 2 weeks and then people will buy way more than if they were always available. So you create the sense of scarcity.
It's like the Costco problem, right? You're like, oh my god, if I go back to Costco, it might not be here next time. I better buy it now.
So to me, overall, like I really don't give a fuck about those cards. Honestly, I think Rick actually is like a really cool card, and I love that Glenn is doing exactly the kind of thing I want to be doing in Vintage. I am actually level 1 posted a really sweet list that I'm gonna link. It's basically Noblefish, but with Glenn. It has 4 Noble Hierarchs, 4 Kozali Bright Mages, and then 3 Glens. So I'm actually like reasonably excited for that card, and since I'm definitely not gonna play Vintage and Paper anytime soon, that's yeah. Almost want to say whatever, but I mean there's people being affected by this, so it's not whatever. But yeah, I think that the issue is a much deeper one, and that's everybody's somewhat disconnect from Magic because of how much new stuff and content Wizards has been pumping out over the last couple of years. Actually, that's not like something related to their fire philosophy, which is like people blame everything on fire, but that's really just like something about gameplay and stuff. It's not about volume.
Fire philosophy?
Yeah, philosophy of fire, if it's something different, that's like deck building, right? You want, but that's a different thing.
Yeah,
and they have that thing.
The words for it are fun, interactive, replayable, and engaging, I think.
Oh, okay.
Entertaining, engaging, and something like that.
And it's an excuse to print. They've just like since they put that philosophy in place, they've printed all the really busted cards that everyone hates. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I read about that. Oh, where was it? I could say Reddit, but I think it was somewhere else. Somebody posted like a report from Hasbro actually, which says that by now Wizards of the Coast is really, really, really carrying Hasbro like big time, because it's the only thing that's really like growing and generating even more money for Hasbro, and everything else is down. And then Hasbro apparently set out a goal that Wizards needs to double their revenue in a 5-year period. And that started last year. So by now we're in the first year of that. And 4 years from now, they need to double their revenue from last year, basically. And that comes down to having to grow. Yeah, that comes down to having to grow 15% each year, because that's how, I guess, growth rates work. Let's not get too deep into the mathematics of that. But on average, they need to grow 15%. And if you know anything about economics, and like I'm not a master of economics, but I know quite a bit about it. And actually, I have a master. Okay, anyway.
Actually, I am. Holy shit.
I just remember.
I forgot that I was a master.
15% growth in like a business this old, unless you do something insanely new or you like come up with something super new and amazing, that's like insane. It's absolutely insane. And especially over a 5-year period every year. So apparently from what I read, they hit that quota in the first year, which is the even crazier thing to me. And I guess that's just like part of what they're doing there. If you ask me, they're kind of milking LGSs for their money, because this kind of stuff would have been like sold through LGSs and they would get their cut and stuff.
This is like probably my least favorite thing about this. They are just cutting out stores and have been doing it for a while. Like there's so many products you can buy online just through them and stuff. Like this is the whole point of a distributor. You create something and then you sell it to your resellers, and then you have a deal with them that you won't sell it because you will tell your customers to go to them because that's your deal with them, and you reach a wider audience. Like, but here they're just cutting that out and stabbing them in the back, or however you want to put it. So that's another reason to hate these Secret Lairs and special products and stuff.
I mean, when the stores are already having a hard enough time anyway, and then you just go and fuck them.
It's just a slap in the face. So yeah.
Yeah.
So
we actually had a question from the Discord, since you touched on this kind of product in the first place. We got a question from Meltyman. Should we ban supplemental sets from Legacy and Vintage? This way, we don't have to experience True Name Nemesis or Allosaurus Shepherd or the inevitable Pickle Rickle Secret Lair ever again.
Pickle Rick!
So how do you guys think about that?
I don't think so. I mean, so I think Legacy would be a better place without them. I guess that is me saying yes, actually. I say no, yes. I don't know. It just feels weird. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like the right criteria to ban something.
I mean, back in my day, we didn't allow Starter 1999 into the format, and Portal, and that has been something that has been done in the past. I think they just have to figure out like where do they want to release Legacy playable cards, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do some sort of silver bordered special edition garbage, for example. I don't know what show is popular now.
There's My Little Pony, man. Dude, you might have missed that, but there literally is Magic My Little Pony.
I don't even think so.
It is.
I think you're lying to me.
Princess Sparkle, it exists.
Yeah. It's real.
Anyway, I don't believe you. But anyway, that's I'll look this up later, and I'll probably be disgusted. Oh god. Anyway, my point is, like, you could easily do, like, if you wanted to do this supplemental, like, milking people garbage, you just do silver bordered cards, and then you're good, because then you don't have to worry about it, right? And if they want to release Legacy playable stuff in a special edition, whatever, then you still keep it black bordered, right? Or you just release it in a regular set, and you're like, oh, obviously this card is going to be terrible in standard, but obviously this is meant for Legacy. Like, they just have to figure out where they want to release those cards, and then you just figure out what you're going to not allow or allow. I don't know. Like, I don't think you have to say, like, oh, all supplemental product is going to be off limits. It's just they need to figure out and be consistent in where they're going to release those cards. Consistency is key.
I agree with that. Like this Secret Lairs stuff, they could so easily be silver bordered, because they're really marketed towards either the casual player or EDH to have like new editions of cards. Like until this new set, this Walking Dead one, all the cards have just been reprints. So it's not like competitive players need it. So yeah, they could very easily be silver bordered. I think I saw either like a Marrow Tumblr question or something from Aaron Forsyth where they said, I think it was Aaron Forsyth said, silver border is Marrow's baby, and he does what that as he pleases. So maybe it's like kept strictly to be the joke sets. I'm not sure.
So if you ask me, I think those, like, generally supplemental sets should be legal for Legacy and Vintage, because both formats, they're kind of like, their soul is being this beautiful accident of whatever happens in Magic, and then we deal with it. And if it's really horrible, the Wizard's gonna step in and save us eventually. But that's just like the way the format always had an appeal to me. And I kind of want to keep that. I also, and that's the big part, I want to keep that avenue open for Wizards to specifically release eternal relevant cards, even though they fucked up big time in the past with a couple of those cards they designed this directly for eternal Mental Misstep, for example. Even though, honestly, like the Mental Misstep area, I don't hate it. I enjoyed myself quite a bit throwing it. But
that was damn good Magic, no matter what anyone says.
That's true. It was really good Magic. It's I gotta say it was really good. I didn't come into this podcast thinking that I would defend Mental Misstep because I'm happy it's gone, but it was good Magic. So I want to keep that avenue open. I want Wizards to be able to release those sets, but once it goes too deep down the rabbit hole of crazy things like Princess Sparkle and stuff, just make that silver bordered, or do anything, but don't like make it legal for Legacy or Vintage. I know it's hard to draw a line, and I think especially the Walking Dead thing is like right in between those two, and it's going to be hard to draw a line. But yeah, if you ask me, I want to keep supplemental sets legal for Legacy and Vintage.
Oh my god, you guys weren't fucking kidding. There are My Little Pony cards.
Don't look, Matt.
Matt, have you ever Googled My Little Pony Power 9? Because there's a guy who's got beta power.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's old
everybody's
news.
seen that.
That's old. And I was like, okay, you're allowed to be dumb with your money, right? Like, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Even if you're wrong, you're allowed to do it. But this is ridiculous. Anyway.
Is that what you tell people when they come into your office and they were like, I want all gold teeth? Like, give
no,
me
that's what I try
teeth.
to tell them to do. And they're like, no, I want the white crown. And you're like, well, you're dumb, but okay, I guess I'll just replace this in 5 years and you'll pay me again. And it's like, I can't tell you what to do with your money except for the fact that you're wrong. Oh, well. And then you just kind of move on with your life. But anyway.
One of these is pretty powerful. It's a 2-mana flying, and other unicorns, horses, pegasi, ponies, and unicorns you control get +1/+1.
It's like a rig.
It's pretty good.
What's her name?
Princess Twilight Sparkle.
Oh, of course she would be. Yeah. Like, oh yeah, she's so dreamy. No, Fluttershy is the dreamy one. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a brony.
Can we actually do a question session for next time if people actually have like dental questions? I would love to do it.
Okay, if you want to submit your dental questions to our military special forces Dr. Matt, definitely submit your dental questions and we can go over. You can actually submit them anonymously.
Of course, anonymously. I don't want people to to be too scared to be like, oh, I don't want to submit something. Oh my god, I'm flipping through all the stuff that you sent me. How many Arastas did I order? I feel like I've counted like 16 Arastas of the Endless Web. This is amazing.
I don't even know what it does, but I remember you ordering one card like so many times that it actually made me go online and check whether there's like something I missed.
Yeah, is there a spike?
I'm pretty sure I messaged a friend of mine. Did I miss something? It's a spider, right?
Yeah, it's the enchantment spider.
It's the anti-delta
I messaged a friend of mine like, what's going on with spiders and Magic right now? In positive news, there's actually going to be Eternal Weekend Online 2020 on Magic Online. I'm really excited for that because we kind of were thinking Wizards maybe was going to do that. I think there were some news that somewhat leaked like a couple months ago, but nobody really had any information. But now Wizards actually released that, and there's going to be 3 events each. And if you don't know what Eternal Weekend is, I guess honestly, I gotta mention that because most people in Europe, they didn't know what it was until it came to Europe, and then they still didn't know it. So it's supposed to be the biggest celebration of Eternal formats and Magic every year. And the winner gets like this, not actually only oversized card, but they get an actual painting of Eternal relevant cards. So in the past, you got stuff like Power 9, Dual Lands, that kind of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And yeah, and that's really cool because this year we can fight for them online because, COVID and everything. So we don't do that like gathering thing. We just do the Magic thing. And yeah, there's going to be Caracas, Roshaden Port, Maze of Ith. we're like 15 years late on that one, but okay.
Yeah.
For Legacy.
You know what's a great Legacy
Vintage
card? Amazing.
Siege Rhino, one day, man. It's only going to be another 5 years.
I'll be recognized.
And for Vintage, we got Tolarian Academy, Library of Alexandria, Mishra's Workshop. Okay, no, that's something.
That's some big game.
Cool.
Because people love these paintings, right? They go for a lot of money, and especially if they're playable. I guess they've had Moxen and Duels for a lot of them before. So now these are all pretty big game as well.
Yeah,
So.
I have some information from people who sold those. I think somebody sold an underground seed, whom I asked, and somebody sold power. And I think it was up to $10,000 for the actual painting. It was so funny because then I asked them, okay, so you got nothing to keep. They were like, oh, they still give you like a tiny painting, not the original one, but still another one. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then that person told me, I sold that one as well. Okay.
I have no honor. I don't need any
only
memory
know
of
one
this. I
language.
just need the cash.
Yeah.
That is money. So yeah, that's going to be thing. And the coolest thing is that you are going to get God accounts. So you pay $25 per event. The events are going to be October 16th, 17th, 18th for Legacy, and 24th, another one on 24th, and 25th for Vintage. So actually the weekend this podcast comes out is going to be Legacy. And you pay $25 and you get a God account starting this Monday, actually.
I actually have a God account now, and I played a match of Vintage before the podcast. It's live now. I bought a ticket.
Oh, that's cool.
I bought a ticket for. I'm not sure which day I can play. I think I'm going to try and play 2 of the Legacy ones this weekend. I need to find a deck I like. I think I'm kind of leaning to testing Shark still. I like the deck a lot. I like the play patterns. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, I'm hoping to do Friday and Saturday maybe. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, God accounts alive. Sweet.
If you could pick, would you want to win the Caracaster or Shaden Port or the Mace?
I'd want the Port.
Maze
Port.
That's fine.
I put the artwork in. Which one do you like the best? Just by the artwork, not by the card.
Oh, Port. Oh, actually, Maze is really sweet.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Mace
saying.
is really good.
No, I like the Port. It's just cool. It reminds me of Venice as well, actually.
That's true. And Venice is known for tapping your lands, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah. Actually, the Caracas is really cool as well. They're all good.
I also really like the vintage ones. Like
Yeah.
I'm not too big of a fan of the Mishra's Workshop one.
No, I
but
was about to say the Mysteries Workshop one looks like something from Kaladesh artwork. Yeah. But the library is awesome. The academy is awesome. Yeah. On the whole, they're really cool. So I'll try and play some vintage ones as well, I think. Are you going to play?
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to be played.
Oh,
if
yes.
I'm allowed to play.
True.
Because Anurag Das and I, we're actually going to do coverage for it. This is something we've been wanting to do for like many, many years. Every time there was a big event, we were telling Wizards, hey, if you could give us access to those replays, we could actually like share that with the community. It's going to be insane. And this is the first year we are actually going to do it, and I'm so excited for it. I don't even know if I'm allowed to play, but I don't even care that much about it. I just want to do the coverage thing because it's not going to be live coverage, but we're going to release those. Expect them like the Thursday after the event. We're not sure on that quite yet. It's going to depend on a couple of things, but you will be able to watch coverage of these events.
Is it because they don't trust you to be live? They're like, oh man, last time. Oh.
Well, I've signed a contract, so I can't tell you anything about it without murdering you. That's not very exciting, I know. But I guess the first part is not very exciting. The second part,
It's really exciting you're doing it though. Like I'm not a huge fan of non-live coverage myself, but knowing you and Anurag and what you do and the enthusiasm you have for the game, I'm gonna watch all of it. Unless there's like videos of me punting and losing and stuff, it's gonna be terrible.
But if you punt and still win the finals, I guess it's gonna be fine for you.
I'll take that. But otherwise, yeah, we'll see. But yeah. I'm really excited to watch all of that. It's gonna be
in
sweet.
a way, it's also gonna be really great. Like if we can do a good job and provide some good quality, and then the community reacts accordingly, and they're like, "Oh my god, this was amazing," that really increases the chance of us being able to do stuff like that in the future. That's how it always works, right? When Wizards like reaches out to somebody and they're like, "Hey, we want to try that," and that really catches on. I mean, fingers crossed.
These like God accounts events have been such a hit as well, from what I can tell. I think I saw like a Wizards representative say that they went a lot better than they thought, and public reactions from what I can tell on Twitter and everywhere, they love them. I mean, obviously God accounts is so great. I wish that they could make MTGO like a subscription kind of service, but it's really cool just to have these separate events on there. And now this new one's integrated into Magic Online, so you just go to the store, you buy a $25 ticket, and then you don't need to go through emails and tokens and stuff. You just have the God account, it links it up, so it's really hassle free, and you get to play in these cool events. So
honestly, this might be the future of Magic Online.
Because
it's so popular, people get so excited for it. I could even see, well, I guess Matt doesn't have experience with this. You do have some experience with the software, right? But people love
at your
that kind of
house
stuff. at my yeah, you fell asleep like right as we were about to start the league. But yeah, okay.
I think I heard about this one.
Yeah. Callum, how does it actually work? Do you get like a separate account that you log into, or does it like add all the cards to your current account and they are just like not tradable or something?
Yep, exactly. The latter. So I have it open in front of me now, Whiteface's account, and this is where I bought the token. And then when you have that, you can make a new deck and you can just drag every card in there.
Oh, that's so convenient.
Yeah, so literally everything is there. There's some things you don't have access to. So because I said I played a vintage thing, you don't get the nice art Power 9, which is a shame. You also do not get the Secret Lairs, so you can't play Pickle Rick and Glenn and Elendil Archmage and stuff.
Oh wow, you can't play Glenn. That's a deal breaker. I would play that if I was gonna play vintage. I would play that or Paradoxical Outcome.
It's all about Pickle Rick.
Yeah, so it's kind of a funny troll. The whole Legacy community was upset about these cards. And then it's like, okay, here's God accounts, but you can't play with these cards.
I mean, it's probably like just a way for them to really squeeze the last bit of money out of people.
Maybe I don't think they expect them to be Legacy like wanted anyway, and they probably just have some things where either new stuff or exclusive stuff. They have something that stops everything being available. I don't really understand why. It seems silly, but. Yeah.
They're probably like that COVID stimulus money. We can get in on a piece of that.
Yeah.
You know how it worked for me when I had my first God account a couple of years ago? Because I was like, I was the replacement player for one of the vintage Super League teams.
Oh, yeah.
And they ended up never needing me, but they still gave me a God account. And it was the worst thing ever. It's because the way it worked is you get a token for every set ever printed in your Magic Online account. And then you have to manually open about, I don't know, 100 something tokens because there's like special event set and that. And you have to right click that, open, and you can't open all, which is like the thing you can do, right? But
That's
it's different
awful.
types. And every opening took like, I don't know, 10 seconds or something. And like, oh my God. But they fixed it apparently.
Yeah, I mean, we give Magic Online a lot of crap, but this is just amazing. I just bought it, and within seconds, my account has access to every card. So yeah. I also
really
just checked for you. Glenn's are 1.5 tickets, and Rick's are 3.
Okay, not gonna buy that on principle. No, seriously, that's. I mean, it's still vintage, right? People can afford that. Yeah, so if I can play, I would really love to play, but I'm probably like, first of all, well, I'm gonna find out. I'm also gonna be really busy with pre-producing coverage and everything, but I'm excited for that. The only thing is, I probably should mention it now so people don't expect it. We won't be able to see players' hands. That's unfortunate, but that's just like the way it works on Magic Online. Unless you give me your password.
I think it's quite fun. I think we're so spoilt by seeing coverage from like both players' hands, and it's probably preferable, fair enough. But I kind of enjoy watching it without it. So you're trying to guess like what the players have in their hands and stuff.
What they're trying to play around.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It feels more engaging to me if you're in the mood for that. Sometimes you just want to watch and not think too much as well.
It's how the early GG's Live and stuff coverage worked 10 years ago or something. Nobody knew anything. You could barely see the cards.
And like old SCGs, they couldn't see the cards, and the commentators would be trying to guess and stuff. And yeah, I think it's fine. I think people might kick up a bit of a shtick about it, but it's not as bad as it sounds for me. I'll definitely. It's also
going to add a little bit to the excitement for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for us today. You guys got anything to say? Like, what's the most broken thing in Legacy and Vintage? So if anybody's listening, okay, this is a really good one. If anybody just bought a God account because they got excited for Legacy and Vintage and they're like, okay, I actually don't know what to play in those formats, what would you tell those people to play?
Depends, what you're good with and what you enjoy. I think a lot of people agree that Rug Delver is the best deck and it's the place to go to. So it's been consistently putting up results in every premier event and challenge and stuff. So Rug Delver I expect to be popular. That's the go-to best deck. Snoko is always popular. It actually has been performing better than control decks historically do and stuff. So it's another one. I think we'll see a lot of Hogak in the events because it's a deck we've spoken about in the last few episodes. It just is always doing well in that kind of PTQ events where you find the grinders that don't have a special attachment to blue cantrip kind of style decks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Hogak do well. There's just other good decks as well. So Espervile is still very good. Elves is very good, as you've said. Combo decks feel like they've they used to be quite good against Delver, but Arcanist kind of swings combo in that way. So combo decks are still there. They're ridiculously powerful. You've got Omnitel, you've got Reanimator, Steak and Show, Depth, Space decks. So they're still very strong. I think Delver's just kind of helping to keep them down a bit. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy where Legacy is. It seems fun, honestly. Like, it's pretty open. Delver is that bit above, but yeah.
So now I'm standing right in front of you, Callum, and I'm Mr. or Mrs. or like random grinder. And I'm like, okay, I'm just here to do well in these events. And I don't have any experience with Legacy, but I want to play something that's powerful. And you got to tell me right now exactly which deck I should play.
Rug Delver, then.
Okay, cool.
I think,
I would tell them Hogak.
I think Hogak's harder to... Well, it depends how long you have to like try it out in leagues first. Hogak is also very good. And if you have any experience with it from playing Modern as well, then it is quite similar. You have the same Altar of Madness, Altar of Dementia combo and stuff. Yeah, Hogak is my second deck to recommend, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would say like Assault Formation aggro, probably.
Assault Formation, is that like one of your Epsign cards?
That's that's one of the ones that is like Rolling Stones, right? It allows walls to attack, and it's Doran and Rolling Stones together in a single card.
Hot damn.
So obviously, it's amazing.
How can one card have such an amazing name and do so little?
Oh, it does two things. That's not so little.
Oh, and it pumps too. It actually has an activated ability as well. It's a tank.
It means business. What about you, Julian? What would you recommend?
For as little as I know about Vintage, I would really just go play Bug mid-range. Something Bug, that's right, Shaman, because that's the closest to like the Magic you're used to that you're gonna get. And it's still like one of the best decks in the format from everything I understand.
That's exactly what I have loaded up in that Vintage League I just mentioned.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just Bug. Good stuff. Seems sweet.
Yeah. Awesome. So, guys, we're going to call it a day here, I think. I'm going to jump to some Borderlands now, man. I've been really, really enjoying playing single-player games just for my own personal private enjoyment, and that's amazing. I'm really... Also, and speaking of, I just played my first game of Among Us. You actually invited me to your British-French group, I think, last night. Yep. And that was amazing.
It's so fun.
That was really amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe we can like do it in a way like if you guys are down, that we just like share
with the
that
Discord,
with our Discord.
Yeah.
If that's like an idea.
Yeah, it's because all my friends they love playing it. I loved your reaction though, because you were like, okay, so guys, we should know by now. So you've been watching all the streamers who are like pretty good, and we are just terrible. Like I think yesterday was my third time playing it, and honestly, I've watched some streams, but I like kind of working stuff out on my own, so I have no idea how tasks work. I don't know what to do on them, so I got kicked off yesterday before you joined because I was trying to work out how one of the tasks works, and I couldn't do it because I'm an idiot. And and so someone came up to me and was like, okay, Callum wasn't doing the task, he must be the imposter. I was like, no, I just couldn't work it out. I don't know. So it was funny because we were all terrible, but... Yeah.
It's also like, it's so much more complicated than you think it is when you watch it. Like when you watch it, it's like, oh my god, it's so clear. You got to do this, you got to do that, and it's that person.
Yeah.
But then as you play, it's like, oh, way too much input. Which is kind of weird for a game that only has like two functions. And if you're crew, you only have like one function, I guess.
Yeah, totally. It was fun. So yeah, let's I don't know if you've seen it for a while, but in our Discord, if you sign up for the Patreon, we have the Everyday Eternal Discord, and we have an Among Us channel, which we're going to set up some games soon. And you can see me be an idiot and bumble around and walk over dead bodies and not report them, as I've done as well. So,
as long as you don't steal my lime green, I'm going to be fine. Because in the first game I joined, you were lime green and I had to be yellow, and that didn't feel right.
Okay, I can change. I don't mind. Although I will just say I killed you straight away in our second game, which was great.
Yeah, and I knew it. I went straight to like weapons, I think, and from there I went to navigation. And I was like, this guy is going to kill me. And then you went it out, and then you didn't even remember you went it out, and I was like, what the fuck?
This is our level. So if you've never played before as well and fancy playing, this is literally our level. I don't know what I'm doing. It's great.
Awesome. So yeah, that you already mentioned it there. We do have a Patreon, we do have a Discord, and if you're going to get access to that, or if you just like want to support the show, there's many ways to do that. The easiest way is to really just get the word out. Let your friends know that there's this Eternal podcast that's called Everyday Eternal, or if you want to know about something like
long time.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about the Gospel of Citron, that's also what we do every once in a while. If you want to do something else, you can support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. You can become a Patreon in various tiers. Our new logo, I've actually been looking into that, and it should be finished. hopefully in November, like actually definitely in November, but hopefully like in the beginning of November. And then I know I owe you guys a lot of t-shirts by now, and those are going to be sent out really soon, like right after the logo hits. I know some of you requested ones with the old logo, and yeah, we're going to honor that as well. But new logo, pixel art, going to be amazing. Really looking forward to that. And the last thing, if you want to make it easier for not just your friends, but also your enemies or like anyone in the world to find the podcast, you can leave a review on iTunes. So if you go to iTunes and you leave a review for us there, that really helps us out. That's going to put us like high up in the lists. Every day, every week I get like a thingy that tells me, hey, you are the number 7 gaming podcast in, I don't know, this country and that country. And it's like, whoa, I didn't even know. Like, did I tell you that like some week we were like the 27th biggest gaming podcast in Japan? There must be something wrong with the algorithm.
And Norway as well, something, I think.
It was really weird. I think it must be like because we're English or something, and maybe they don't listen to like English-speaking podcasts. But even then, I can't imagine us being the 20. But maybe
you are the third biggest podcast on the third Tuesday of the month in Indonesia. It's like, okay,
you are
great.
the biggest podcast in the world. Okay, I don't need your services anymore then. Thank you very much. You have achieved greatness. No, a lot of people actually do help us achieve greatness. On our Eternal Witness tier, we have Valerio, Tommy Hinks, Trent Browers, and on our top Grizzlebrand tier, we got Nick Victor Bernanz, Baju Butt, Scott Monroe, Kulish Alistay, Jeremy Gates, Martin Nielsen, Eugene Freeman, and Henrik Korkutz. We also got a new Patreon this week. I put his name in bright red letters at the very beginning of the show notes, and then I once again didn't see it. I don't know like how big I need to make those names to mention it at the beginning, but Moritz Vogel, thank you so much for joining us on the Eternal Witness tier and becoming part of the community. So, what are you guys up to? What are you guys gonna do for the rest of the day?
Gonna finish my Vintage League, then got into testing some sharks still, I think. Yeah. Sharks.
Sounds good.
I'm sharking.
Shark.
Matt.
And
Matt?
I'm honestly probably going to go see the new Christopher Nolan movie Tenet while movie theaters still exist.
I heard a lot of good things, or rather like excited that it's going to be interesting. I actually don't even know what it's about in the first place at all. I like to
It's a time
not know
travel
anything
movie.
about a movie.
I could have guessed.
Okay.
It's a Christopher Nolan movie, therefore there's probably time travel. And I was right.
Some sort of travel.
So that's pretty good. I'll
Awesome.
tell you how it is.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to go to a movie theater anytime soon, but there's ways to watch stuff, right? Nobody's saying anything. You've never engaged in the act of piracy?
No,
I
never.
may have sailed the high seas in my time.
I've never heard of the internet before in my life.
Yeah, it's gonna go away. It's just like a trend. Like, whatever, man. So thank you so much, everybody. And yeah, see you again for the next show. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.